It's time to take a stand, bringing the truth to a fucked up land. We've had enough of the lies and deceit. We're done for good with the toxicity. Oh, hell, thanks. We are the Rabyd Nation. Oh, hell, thanks. We are the Rabyd Nation. Oh, hell, thanks. We are the Rabyd Nation. We are the Rabyd Nation.
All right, and a hearty shout out and welcome to all of you who are members of the Rabyd Nation, whether you are a genuine bona fide citizen who pays for their citizenship, whether you are a tourist who's just subscribed, or whether you're just looking across the border and wondering whether or not you should immigrate to the Rabyd Nation. Welcome one and all. I'm your host, Ed Rabyd, a former pastor, turned atheist, now a compassionate anti-theist. I am the Rabyd Atheist, and this is the Rabyd Atheist channel. Welcome, one and all. Appreciate all of you being here tonight. Today we're going to, it's a fireside chat, so where the conversation actually goes is purely up to the chat. It's always a fearful and frightening thing for me to place the topic selection into the hands of the chat, but here we go. But we will start out with the topic of whether or not Jesus was a historical figure or not. Whether he was historically real or not. This is kind of, I tend to base my questions on Fireside Chat to open things based on what's happened in the previous week of streaming. And I did have a theist get in there and tell me that nobody seriously questions the historicity of Jesus. Not a single scholar does, et cetera, which is not true. So we'll do that. A couple of announcements. The Fluffalo Fangs Discord is now available for those of you who want to have a place to discuss the wonderful love of fangs and fangsology and the Fluffalo Fangs and just have a community. There it is. The link is there in the chat up at the top. I've pinned it up there. So if you're into Discord and that's something you would be interested in, there you go. It's run by the ever lovely lap in which our Lord naps. I killed Earl. So she is actively engaged in that, and I'm kind of I'm just the benevolent cult leader over there. So welcome one and all to that. Also, there's a goal in chat. If we reach that goal, I will, of course, wear the hat chosen by the poll for the rest of the stream. And it's just my fun way and a unique way, I suppose, of raising money for my channel and doing the things that I do. Appreciate all of that. Donations have actually gone up a little bit this last month, so thank you very much for that. Appreciate all of you that have supported the channel. And before we get going, got to check out the roll call. Fred wanted to weigh in, even though he's not going to be here. Fred is kind of the opinion it doesn't really matter. So there's that. But he did want to say, I'm not going to be here, rock on fluffers. And of course, I want to thank you for the donation, although it doesn't count towards the hat, although I could make it be so if I wanted to, and I maybe do that. John is here as well. The elder gods, of course, have graced us with their presence. I appreciate that. Michael from Germany is here. Nathan is here. Evan is here. Shall not say it any fire. I know. It's metaphorical. I know. It gets hard. The mighty Philbert is here. Welcome. I think that's it for all of you here. Oh, and the elder gods are just given the most proper donation to this channel ever. 666. Thank you very much. I'm going to weigh in on I don't think it's, the reason I'm doing this is because there was a comment by a theist when I talked about the historicity of Jesus, and I hadn't weighed in one way or the other, but he was like, nobody's serious. seriously like questions the historical existence of Jesus. There's not a single serious scholar that does that. And I know that there is. Richard Carrier is probably the most famous one, and I had trouble remembering his name at that particular time. But there's a list. Hold on, I'm going to put this in the chat. But there's a list of 47 scholars that do not believe that Jesus was a real person. Bunch of independent scholars all across the world, and I don't know if it includes like the Muslim scholars that also question. Some of them question Jesus's existence. I'm not sure about that, but yes. So there's that. But yes, there is a list of like 47 people that are serious historical scholars that do not believe in the reality of Jesus. Okay, so it's like it was a talking point. So there you go. And I just wanted to set that clear with this question. But my own personal view is it is very possible that Jesus was a historical figure, that the legendary development led to mythological development that made them more than once. That's a real possibility. It's also possible that he didn't exist and he's just in the imagination of early Christians who created the character. There's just a plethora of possibilities for the historicity of Jesus that all have their validity. But I think the historical question, I think the reason the mythicists fight so hard that he was a myth is because that gets rid of all the other claims about him. It gets rid of the resurrection claims. It gets rid of the miracle claims, like he didn't even actually exist. And so it's kind of it wins the game of, Christian versus atheist or Christian versus non-believer with one fell swoop. Because if Jesus is a myth and it can be proven he's a myth, then all the rest of it just dies with it. Okay, it's a silver bullet basically that they're looking for that gets rid of the problem. I don't think it matters because even if you count the historicity of Jesus, you can dismiss the resurrection and miracle claims. Like you don't have any evidence for those other than the say-so of 4 books that are hearsay. So yeah, so to me, you can win the debate about whether Christianity is authentic either way. Okay, but the mythicists, if they were successful in getting rid of the idea of Jesus as a real person, that kills the resurrection, that kills the virgin birth, that kills all the miracles, feeding of the 5,000 and healing the blind, all that stuff just all gone. So that's what I think the debate is really about. And I've heard both sides, and I think both sides have some fair points to make. And the problem is I don't think anybody can definitively decide this question. And I think John from Holland had a interesting point too. Like he says, shouldn't the question be, was Jesus based on a historical figure or not? That could be also true. One of the theories I saw put forward was that Jesus is actually a conglomerate of all the messianic figures at the time, and that whoever the writings of Scripture were, they had all these different messianic characters, and they just kind of put them into one in Jesus of Nazareth. That's also possible. So, yeah. So there you go. But let's see. Jimmy, good to see you, Jimmy. Let's see. Martin's also here. Here it doesn't matter. It's an underlying God that needs to exist. Without that, Jesus isn't relevant. Yeah, there's also the God question too. So, but yes, yeah. Getting my neck of the woods was slammed with a ton of snow in the blizzard. Regarding the question, I don't know because I haven't researched this topic at all. But if I had to guess, I'd say no. Yeah, I mean that actually is a valid thing to say. Like I think if Christians are going to claim that Jesus existed, they should be able to make a case for historical verification. But I don't think that most of them try to do that. Like a few of them do, but I don't think most of them try. So, yeah, Jesus mything. Yeah. There's some books out there, like all these guys that are mentioned in that link also have books on the subject. So they all have their arguments. So but he believes. Yeah, I know, Phil. He believes in them. Yeah, they're also making the point that the actual evidence is pretty bad. Like a lot of people will run to like Josephus, and then you point out to them that Josephus has been altered in certain regards, and that Josephus doesn't actually prove what they think it proves. It like proves that early Christianity existed, doesn't prove that Jesus existed. So it's like, people will go, "Oh, uh, I don't." What a lot of it proves is that there's an early form of Christianity, but it doesn't prove that the person is like existent as a basis, that the evidence is kind of shitty. Like they quote Roman historians, but it's like they're talking more about the movement of Christianity than Christ himself. Like they worship this God. Well, there's a lot of cults that worship like Mercury and Zeus and Apollo. Just because a group of people worship something doesn't mean that it's real. And that's kind of also part of the problem. So they don't get into the fact that none of these historical sources actually talk about Jesus directly. Like it's all indirect through their followers. So, hey, Robin, good to see you, Robin. I don't like mayo. I don't like mayo. Okay, that's fair. More of a salad dressing guy myself, but I don't know about this, but according to the crucifix, he's got. Yeah, I mean, Jesus is pretty buff. Like for a guy on a cross, he certainly did. Like did he do cross training? Did he do all that other stuff? Those are all bad puns. I usually leave those for Evan, but so there you go. So there you go. But yeah, to check out some folks in that camp that aren't complete. Yeah, they're the list. The link I put in the chat will give you these are historians. These are who's who of history historians. There's 27 of them that are PhD level, and they're not out there just bashing apologists and stuff like that. So there you go. so, so there you go. I'd argue that the historical question and not a religion one. So it's for historians, not theologians, to bring the receipts. Yeah, and that's kind of the truth. But if you're going to base your apologetics on Jesus being a historical figure, that this actually happened in history, then you're kind of in both realms. Like there's one of the things my apologetics professor, and where it comes up in apologetics, is if Jesus didn't historically walk out of the tomb, then the whole faith is vain. Like the Apostle Paul in 1 Corinthians is correct, that if Jesus didn't rise from the dead, then the whole thing's a complete waste of time. But so there's that. But yes, theology and apologetics in some ways relies on quote unquote historical evidence of Jesus to function. And without them, there just isn't really a lot of reason to do theology or apologetics. So if Jesus isn't a historical real figure, the game is up. Like it's up. So yeah, he was CrossFit. I think Jesus did CrossFit. So yeah, it is also a very low bar to state somebody that existed. That's correct, Cranky. There's a huge leap from historical of an individual to veracity of supernatural claims. Yes, this has kind of been my point all along. So it's like it's more of a question of, okay, even if you prove Jesus historically exists, you still have to do all the other things. Like you still have to prove the resurrection, you still have to prove the miracles, you still have to prove the virgin birth or whatever. There's other things that have to be proven that are outside of that. So, so the other day, which Jesus. Okay. Yeah, I met when I was teaching in Texas, I met a lot of Jesuses that spelled it that way too. Met a lot of Jose's too, and Josue's, and yeah, subtle differences in pronunciation and spelling. It's amazing. Hey, JL, what's up, man? Key points in regard to theology is not the existence of a first generation Palestinian David Koresh. It's whether or not the individual is supernatural. The God is what is on the chopping block. Yeah, I agree in part, but I also know that apologetics makes its bones on Jesus being a real person too. Like if he's not a real person, the game is up. Like it's equivalent to flipping over the game board at the table. Because we're not playing the game of, did Jesus rise from the dead? We're playing the game of, did Jesus even exist? And that's a different game entirely. So There you go. Hey, Jacqueline. See you. Make claims about astrophysics without the credentials. Yeah, I agree. But they do have some historians on their side. So, like, whether or not those guys are like, that's the thing. Like, you can, it's always about the strength of the data and the evidence, not about the PhDs or people like that. But I really hate it when apologists and theists make the claim, well, there's no serious historian that discredits the existence of Jesus, and I pull out 47 off the top of my head. So it's like, you might want to get out there a little bit more and get out of your bubble. Yeah. What about Jesus who got a crossbow? Okay, there you go. Yeah, there you go. I'm just saying, he's CrossFit. Got your own most claimed Jesus. Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, I mean, Popeye was based on a real figure, so why not? There you go. Paul's dream seems like a hallucination from guilt at what he's doing. It's still a very questionable conversion. Yes, it is. All right. Data over dogma. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at. Like, it doesn't, you can have somebody that's the historical basis of Christianity without it necessarily, you got to have the data with it. Like, it's not about the credentials half the time. Like, a scientist doesn't base their reputation on their credentials. Their credentials are based on their data that prove that they're a scientist. So it's like, yeah. Yeah, I think another good historical equivalent would be, I don't know, King Arthur might be a good one. Robin Hood's another one. You could throw in several other figures like legendary, like here in the United States, we have tall tales like Pecos Bill and Paul Bunyan and John Henry and Johnny Appleseed. There's a lot of those that have historical equivalents that maybe those mythologies were based on, the legends were based on. And I think Jesus could be the same. Like, there might be a rabbi named Jesus of Nazareth that got in trouble with the Pharisees, and maybe they got the Romans to crucify him, but it doesn't change the fact that all the other claims of miracles just aren't there. And maybe his real name wasn't Jesus, but they changed it later. So there you go. Extent in which mythical hold any basis in real events. I feel like there's more mundane explanations such as hallucinating human God. Yes, exactly. But yes, even other religions that didn't believe in the divinity of Jesus can't deny his existence. This irony is kind of a recent one, or am I wrong? No, it's not actually that recent. There has always been somebody in the scholarship, I think, that's been questioning the historicity of whether Jesus actually existed. Like, don't get me wrong, there's plenty of us on the side of, non-belief that believe in a historical Jesus. Like, I think Bart Ehrman certainly does. Paula Gia certainly does. Like, they believe Jesus was a real person, but as a basis of the faith of Christianity, there must have been a central figure. Why not it be Jesus of Nazareth kind of thing? But when it comes to historical, like, data and evidence, that bar gets a little tougher to jump over, because you have to have good sources. And the problem is the sources we have for Jesus' existence are hearsay based on hearsay based on hearsay. So it's like, there's no sources to verify the Gospels historically. So it's like, we have a problem. So, that's the problem that those people have. Whereas the other side is like, well, it's a pretty mundane claim to prove that somebody exists. So, there is some basis for it, maybe. So, make the claim because they want it to be true, even if proven false, people will still believe it. Yes, and there's going to be people on both sides of this, because my personal view has always been both sides make a good case, but it's not a conclusive one, and so either one could be right. And they, it's like either he did or didn't exist. So we all know Robins don't wear hoods. Okay, Robin's good. As long as your Robin Hood can speak with an English accent. Unlike other Robin Hoods, I can actually speak with an English accent. So, yes. One of the best jokes of all time at the time. It was so timely. John Ivan became the story. Yeah, I mean, but the story is mundane. There's like no miracle claims on the Appleseed. Whereas Paul Bunyan, you got a few miracles. Like you got some pretty big things. The same is true with Pecos Bill and John Henry. Something mundane that grew a bit larger than it was. Yeah, you can see that. But legendary development is kind of like that. Like I can see in 1,000 years, one of those legendary developments being something supernatural, like Johnny Appleseed suddenly just waves his hand and apple trees appear, kind of thing. So, is the bull Baal a woman hater? Yes, yes. Hey, Josh, good to see you. Oh my gosh, Jesus has a flesh wound. Yeah, I mean, you can be that too. You cannot believe in a historical. There's atheists that are on both sides of that camp. Like I think there's obviously somebody who came up with the idea of Christianity at the beginning. There's some either central person or small group of people that came up with the idea. How did they get that idea and why did it work is a good question. Okay, like there's some sort of like there's always the basic beginning kernel core of a story, okay, or a legend. And what that actually is a good question. So something started Christianity, whether it was a historical figure known as Jesus of Nazareth or a group of people that had delusions about him. There you go. Yeah, well, probably not. It would have been, what it would have been, Yeshua. Yeshua would have probably been the more Hebrew-like name. So he's not the Messiah. He's a very naughty boy. Yes, we have a lot of Life of Brian fans here, so including me. And each one had a different Jesus. Yes, I mean there's that point too. Like everybody has a different view of Jesus. I try to tell that to people when I'm talking to them about their faith. Like your Jesus is different than the person you go to church with people who your Jesus, their image of Jesus is different than yours. So you're making up a bunch of it in your own brain. Yes, yes, Men in Tights. Yes, yes. He was actually a pretty good actor. I loved him in Princess Bride. He was very good. So I love that one. Honestly, there is a case to be made that the life of Brian wasn't completely far off. Like the scene where you have all these messianic figures making these predictions of the end of the world, that probably in a certain sense was true in Jerusalem at the time. Okay. Because I think the Romans complain about Palestine is that there's always some messianic guy trying to overthrow the Roman government all the time. So there's a lot of truth to some of what they were talking about. So, but they were illustrating how the whole thing could get completely blown out of proportion. How simple acts can turn into legendary development. Like that's very, very true. Like the life of Brian is humor and it's comedy, but it makes some very salient points like all good humor and comedy should. So they did a good job there. So the more Jesus is, the more miracles. Yes, twisted according to the Romans. Demons doing miracles to deceive. Yes, there's that possibility too. Is new meaning to the term star-crossed letters. Okay. If I've seen it, is that the one where they always look on the bright side of life? Yes. Always look on the bright side of life. One of the best songs ever. All right. Remember American Gods? You got your white Jesus style Jesus, your black African Jesus, your Mexican Jesus, your swarthy Greek Jesus. It's one of them I haven't seen, but if that's part of the humor, I'm down. Okay, I'm down. Because it's so true. It's so true, JL. Like everybody's got like every denomination has their view of Jesus, who he was, and that image and character is different than the next church over. Like it's so much cultural development and so much how we perceive some figure. Like everybody's got their different view of who he is, but it is absolutely true. That's so much reality there. So is the ones who got crucified and made their yes, made him their God. Yes, I know. Yeah, yeah, it's one of those things. Good to see you, Ryan Murph. And some of the things that should have not been were lost. History became legend, legend became in. Just saying. There you go. Another great quote. Let's see, the author of Prince of Dry, the book, went to my alma mater. I recall there being a story about him freaking out at the practical effects when he was said the fire swamp scene. Okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, there you go. There you go. I didn't say can't. I said didn't deny his existence. One of the reasons I was drawn to his Christianity is because so many other talked about Jesus and positively about him. Yeah, I get that. Okay, I see what you're saying. But yeah, it's an interesting thing to think about because so many other religions do use Christianity. So it's like, and they talk about Jesus as if he's a real person too. So like the Muslims don't deny Jesus's existence, nor do they actually put him in a prophet category. So it's like a lot of other people, like there's a bigger question here of why this figure of Jesus as even if a myth is so popular with so many different cultures and religions. Like, why do they like him? Like, why is he such a big deal? So thanks, Josh. We're no longer the Judean front people. We're the people's front of Judea. Okay, yes, one of the better lines. Things haven't changed all that much, have they, Josh? Things haven't changed much. Yeah, they made Remy into a god too. Yes, everything in that movie except for the chase is the spaceship is fiction. To be fair, the Pythons are well educated. Yes, like most of the guys that did Monty Python's Flying Circus were very well educated, smart people. So, and they used comedy to make a point. Some of them, most of them are still around too. So, yeah, but the truth comes through in myths because it cannot be said. Yes. Yes, the Mormon Jesus is very racist. Yes, he is. That's one of the things that I noted with them. Like I would have when I was a believer, I had that discussion with a Mormon who came to my door. And like I can't buy your thing because it's like your Jesus is racist. And that ended that conversation. It's funny how many conversations I've ended with Jehovah's Witnesses and Mormons over the years. So very quickly too. Church of Christ of Latter-day Saints. Yes. Book's usually better than you have to, but The Princess Bride is better as a movie. Yeah. If you haven't missed reading it, you're not. No, I agree with that one. Like I've read the original book and I like, the book's okay. The movie is great. Like, like there are some movies that outshine the book they're based on, and that's definitely one of them. I'd agree with that. So invite JWs to talk. You invite JWs in to talk. Yeah, I do. I used to do that too, and then they stopped coming. Like I used to nail them on the Greek all the time. Like you can't say that about certain passages, and they would like run for the hills after that. So yeah, I mean you can, but I felt like maybe it's because of who the cast was and how they portrayed the characters and gave them a little bit more life. I always liked the movie a little bit better than the book. So, and it makes some good points too. Yes, R.I.P. You only read the book, which is okay-ish. Yeah, you should watch the movie. They did a pretty good job. I think the characters are brought better to life by some of the actors. The actors were pretty good. But yes, but once again, speaking of how legendary development develops, like you have a case there where somebody took a book, made a movie out of it, made the legend bigger, like we see this all the time in our own culture and society. And so I can absolutely see it in the time of Jesus of somebody being the source of the stories, but they were pretty mundane. And the Christian church over the years just made them bigger and bigger. Is it a kissing book? Yeah, someday you may not mind as much. So there you go. They put you on the do not visit list if they can't convert you, make you. Yeah, and I think that's kind of what happened to me after a while. Like the JWs and the Mormons just stopped showing up, so they gave up on me. So I'm just like, okay, I guess I'm an apostate in another religion now too. I'm collecting this. I'm becoming a heretic and an apostate in so many religions now. So there you go. Most of the JOs run back to the elders as soon as they raise any doctrinal questions. Yeah, that's probably true. Like the one time they came, the last time they came, they had an elder with them. A couple nice young ladies who had their elder with them, and I talked to the elder mostly while the young ladies looked on, and kind of buried him in my questions about how he knows anything. And next thing I know, they're not coming to see me anymore. So there you go. I'm good with it though. Less of my time wasted. Jesus is the unsightly Jenga piece of Christianity, but what is the most glaring flaw of Judaism? The most glaring flaw of Judaism. Oh my goodness. Man, the glaring flaw of Judaism in the past, like doctrinally, I don't know. That's a loaded question, Blossom, but because I can tell you what it is now. Like there is no historicity to the first 6 books of the Bible whatsoever. Like that's a pretty glaring flaw of modern Judaism. um, but the rest of it, yeah. Like I think Cranky got it. It's the God they serve. Like he's kind of a douche. Like, he's just not a good guy. Just a bad. He's the bad guy trying to pretend to be the good guy in the story, and everybody's just afraid of him, so they won't point that out to him. So they won't just say, "Are we the baddies?" Like, we be the baddies. So there you go. When he gets his wife is actually thinking of agreeing that his mood changes fast. Yes, raising the bar. There we go, raising the bar. Yeah, but yes, the puns never stop around here. It's just bad. Or good, depending on the other. But yes, but yeah, like that's that. But today, the largest problem Judaism has is most of the Orthodox Jews have even had to admit they don't have any historical reality to the first 6 books of the Bible. Like there's no history or archaeology that backs that up at all whatsoever. Like it's all of that is complete made up story from Genesis 1:1 all the way to the end of Joshua. Like there's just there's just nothing there. That it claims a God. I mean, the way so many Zionist Jews include a very specific idea of Zionism. That's basically, but my book said it's mine. I don't care what the inhumanity ensues. Yes, that's probably another disturbing thing about Judaism these days. That even though they know their holy book is a large part myth, like the Torah is largely a myth, they cling to this. The holy book says I own it. So yeah, that's a problem. See you later, Martin. You have a good one. Yeah, I get it. I get it, Evan. Like as somebody who have Jewish ancestry yourself, I get it. Like it's a scary thing. That's another absolutely proper response. If you don't want to waste your time with that stuff, just stay indoors. It's always good. If God were real, I don't think him being a shit by our standards would matter. The lack of history is more damning. Yeah, and I think it is. Like the fact that you have a mythological character that's an asshole doesn't really damage you near as much as the fact that none of what you believe is based on any historical or other type of reality claim. Like you're just you're making up a claim that allows you to do certain things. I think that's probably the more damning thing. Um, it's one of those things where it's really a problem for them in that you don't have any basis or foundation for your beliefs. Like in the case of Christianity, if Jesus is a myth, that everything in the Gospels disappears, everything in the New Testament disappears, like it's all gone. And if you don't have that historical backing, you got nothing. Okay, and I think that's kind of the problem with Judaism too. Like they've lost a lot of their historical backing, and it's one of those things. It's a crack in the foundation that takes time. Like what's the movie? The Guns of Navarone 2, where the guy sits off the explosion inside the dam, and at first nothing really happens. Like it takes a while for the pressure behind the dam to take advantage of the crack caused by the explosion before it bursts open. And much like that, I think the historicity question for both Judaism and for Christianity is kind of like that. There's a crack there now, and it's not going to go away. Like it's going to eventually crush both religions. Like it's going to happen. So I made up Joshua. I was due the next day, and I took some liberties with the material. Okay. Thanks, Josh. Okay, very well. That's 4. I suppose I could count Fred and say the hat goals thing, but let's see if we get one more before the stream's over. We're only 36 minutes in, so. Yeah, I know. I'll tell you what, if I don't get another donation in 10 minutes, we'll count it. How's that sound? Or you can exercise your impatience, and there you go. But if I count Fred, yes. He donated before the goal was active though, and that's the problem. So I like to watch the little confetti go off. Okay. So there you go. It's a vibe for me that allows people to be assholes. Yes. I think it demands it too. Like you have to be a person. I don't know. I've made this statement before about religion. I think you've agreed a little bit, Cranky. Like religion in itself has kind of this egocentric thing to it about you've found the truth. Like you found the thing that works. Like you found the thing that is actually true. And Christianity is kind of like that. So, all right. All right. All right, apparently, put on the damn man. Okay, there we go. It's the Irish plaid fedora, just in time for St. Patrick's Day. So there you go. There you go. Goal achieved. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate all of you. So we reached the goal. Outstanding. Appreciate it. You guys are very supportive, and I appreciate that. I've had people ask me, how do you get, I got to do hat things. Okay, let's understand something about Cranky. Cranky arrives cranky. Like, I don't have to do anything. Okay. Like this is him. Like it's the 666 donation and put on the damn hat. He's already cranky when he arrives. I sometimes poke the elder gods, into action. They don't seem to care about humanity. So I try to provoke them into other action, and it sometimes works in my favor, even. Yes, we're going to be in time for St. Patrick. Well, I think March will have maybe a conversation or two about some of the saints, particularly St. Patrick. So he's a very interesting. Now, unlike Jesus, he actually has some good historicity behind his existence. So, like there's actually some historical documentation that backs up St. Patrick's existence. So it's not the best evidence, but it's better than Jesus. So there you go. It's not like a joke, but I'm serious. Did you see in the far future where Scientology is dominant because Iran Hubbard exists, and then there is proof it's a scary? Yeah, I mean, it's possible. Like every cult has its scary side to it. Like all the religions that exist today at one time were just cults. Like they were small religions. And somehow they got bigger. it's possible that Scientology could do that. Like, was it Bill Burr said it? Scientology just at least has spaceships, and I can kind of relate better to spaceships. Okay, like it's I don't know. It's quite possible that they will become big, but yeah, it's a scary thing to consider. Like a lot of cults could become big, and some of them have very scary beliefs. So yeah, Joseph Smith existed, so bam, more Mormonism. So like, and once again, we have more proof for Joseph Smith's existence than Jesus. So there you go. So yeah, he is definitely their religious figure. So who wouldn't be cranky just as a baseline? I'm pretty much a professional curmudgeon, or would it be if I got paid for it? Yes. Yeah, I think that's the problem for Scientology. It's pretty much horse crap. It's bullshit. So like they don't make it. They don't last very long because of that. Like, but once again, you have a lot of historical evidence for L. Ron Hubbard's existence, and you don't have that for Jesus. So that's the other. I think Blossom's just using a thought experiment here of what would happen if they did that, and I think it's quite possible. I I think though that Islam is like Islam makes the claim to be the last religion on earth, and I really hope so. Like, I really hope so, and I hope but their foundation is still in the Old Testament. Like Islam still relies on the historicity of the first five books of the Bible, six books of the Bible too. They're deeply involved in that. And if that's all mythology, that hurts Islam just as much as it hurts Judaism. So um, they got a lot of things to do. Like they have a lot of things to do to prove their historicity too. And I don't know. I think it's these historical claims are what's kicking a lot of these Abrahamic religions in the butt because they have based so much of their apologetics and theology on Jesus being a real person, Muhammad being a real, we have more actual proof of Muhammad being a real person, but his historical claims of what he did, like the whole going into a cave, not knowing how to read thing, you know, it yeah, Muhammad has better proof of his existence than Jesus does. So, because he actually engaged in wars and his enemies wrote about him. So it's like, if you want to be remembered as a religious figure and remembered as a historical figure, just start a war with somebody and then have them write it down. So yes, there's better evidence for Muhammad than Jesus. So, um, wonder if they still believe in the rapture when the sun going supernova. I don't know. See, that was the other thing. What was the other thing I watched this week? Oh yeah, Philbert, like his whole thing about the rapture. Gosh, I remember so much that series, A Thief in the Night, when I was a kid. Like Philbert nailed it there on his live stream. You can go check that out from his Saturday. But it's like there was so much of this rapture stuff in my life. I don't know. I remember the fear of it. Would we still believe in the rapture when the sun's going? So we consider that as part of the whole messianic end of the world revelation type stuff, probably, Nathan. It's just, yeah, the sun's not going to go supernova either. It's going to be one of those fade into existence things more than anything else. It's too small to go supernova. But yeah, will we be still here? I have no idea. Or will be another Homo erectus type species? When we want to rapture. I don't know. But no, I just remember the rapture just being this thing that was another fear tactic besides hell. Like it was like you don't want to miss the fear, the rapture, and and so anticlimactic. No, but yes. This is why we keep Evan around. He has the obvious puns. Um, but no, I remember that so much. Oh my gosh. Like, and the thought of Jesus not being a historical figure at the time when I was a kid would just have not entered into my brain. But I find out that there's always been a scholarly thread of thought throughout history about whether Jesus was a real person. Like, they don't have there's not the same evidence level that a lot of other ones have. So, but yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of cults that I think might make it that don't, but I think Scientology. Somebody mentioned that, or it's like I think the lawyers are already like they're having trouble around the world. So yeah, I rewatched those movies, trying to figure out why they had so much of an impact on me. The acting was so bad, but I guess it hit different when I was 14. Yeah, it was bad acting, but the thing I remember about that, I mentioned it during your stream, um, that Baron Cross used that opening of that first movie as an opening for their song "Out of Time," and I used to love that song. Like it's a banger. Like it's a headbanging song. Baron Cross had some musical talent, particularly in the guitar area, but they they used that. And I remember they were one of my favorite bands at the time when I was a Christian youth. And at the same time, it kind of showed A Thief in the Night. And I guess that's why that sticks in my memory so much. So I've heard that before, you know. But yeah, it's amazing how Christianity back then used the rapture as another fear tactic to keep you in. And it didn't work with adults. I don't think it works with adults. It does work with kids because like the thoughts of all my Christian friends are going to go be with Jesus and I'll be stuck here going through the tribulation. What a fear thing, you know, like, oh my God. Like I look back at it and I think it does hit differently when you're a kid or a youth and you don't have all the information. It's one of those powerful indoctrination tools that we used to submit to. But yes, a Thief in the Night is an interesting movie series because the acting is really bad, but it's like the way that they used it as a propaganda tool to keep us in the faith. Like it was pretty diabolical when you think about it. The rapture is some evil shit, even in ways it never intended. Say you come early and your family and their car is still there and you have no phone contact, and where are they? Yes. I remember friends used to telling stories about that. I had one too where I came home and all my parents' cars were there, but I couldn't find them. Well, they were like a block away at the neighbor's house and they just forgot to leave a note. You know, it's like, but like the way that rapture thing works on your brain, Blossom, it's like it puts in the back of your head this fear factor of coming home and finding yourself alone. Like that's kind of the way it works. So hey, Skeptic, good to see you, man. Actually, I can define good and evil. Evil is when you diminish well-being and harm somebody, and good is when you don't harm somebody and improve well-being. So the idea that people that don't have a God can't define good and evil is just a straight up lie. I mean, if that's going to be your opening, I think you're in trouble. Okay. Like it's not subjective at all. I can define very objectively what harm is and what increases or decreases well-being. Those can all both be objectively measured. And your morality is subjective too. It's subject to a God. So it is absolutely objectively true. So what? So is yours. All morality is subjective. You're still subject to your God-given commands. So I don't need a standard of rationality, a standard of human empathy. I have multiple standards that I can use to quantify morality. It's done all the time in moral philosophy. So, yeah, I mean, what objective? Who? What objective? What objective does your morality have? Give me an objective thing that your morality says. Come on. And it's the same subjective statements that I can make without it. You don't have an objective morality either, because it's all subject to your interpretation of your holy book. Okay. The fact that you have biblical interpretation or Torahic or holy book interpretation of any kind means that you've injected a subjective element into your morality. All morality is subjective. Okay. Even the so-called, I use logic all the time. What do you mean by objective logic? I'm not really sure that those two words go together. What objective logic? You haven't given me an example of how your morality is objective. What are you talking about? All you're really kind of showing is that you know words and you know how to manipulate them, but you don't know what they actually mean. So, but once again, I'm asking you a question. Give me an example of your objective logic. Human beings created logic as a tool to help them analyze their reasoning. And it's very effective because multiple people have gone through it. Objective, subjective qualities and logic don't really make sense to me. Yeah, I mean, you put your morality, if you think slavery is wrong, you've overrode your Bible. So you just put your morality ahead of the Bible's morality. So morality is a constantly evolving thing. Logic has been a constantly evolving thing. So, yeah. So what? Why am I cooked? I'm sorry. You still haven't given me an example of an objective morality statement yet that you have. So, yeah, I know where he's coming from. He's doing William Lane Craig and Turek. So, but yes, and there's a bunch of crap there that's just nonsensical. But once again, I'm still trying to get him to give me an example of objective morality that comes from his system. My logic is grounded in the fact that we use human reason to reason, and so we're constantly reevaluating whether we're thinking correctly. The idea of objective logic or subjective logic just doesn't make sense to me. Like, it seems like it's something you've made up. Objective means mind independent. Logic can be mind independent. Logic can be objective. Okay. Thanks, Ember. I appreciate that. But yeah, I'm sorry. That just doesn't work for me. To me, you're introducing categories that don't go there. Okay. Like we created logic as a tool to analyze our reasoning. It's just like we created math as a tool to describe things, a language, just like we created other languages. Like if you're looking for the basis where logic and morality come from, it comes from human beings. Okay. And so but you're never going to get a logic. So yeah, I get it, JL. Like I understand it, but it's like, I'm still waiting for him to give me an objective moral statement that can't be turned into something subjective. And I've never been able to see a theist, JL, do that. Every time they say, like, they could use, like, you shouldn't kill or murder people. And my response is, okay, if somebody's trying to kill you, is that murder? Like, it's like there's a much more subjective element to even murder than people would like to admit. But yes, but I have yet to hear him make an objective moral statement and prove it can't be subject to subjectivity. Like every moral statement I've ever heard, you can subjectively analyze it and say, well, yeah, that's a statement that you haven't proven. Okay. I'm sorry. I can absolutely ground logic in human beings. You just may not like the grounding, but I can do that. So Martin left. Earl's not here tonight. She would probably have done away with us already too, but logic requires the human mind to think about it. Like you can't give me an example of thought without a human mind to think it. Okay, you can't give me an example of a brain not being required. And so it seems like logic requires a human brain to think it. So it's a hurdle they can't overcome without trying to ground something objective in the mind. It's logically contradictory. Thanks, JL. I knew I was searching for words. That's why I keep JL around. He's much better at this stuff than I am. It's nice to know you have utility, JL. I'm just kidding. I like you as a person too. You're an awesome person. So, but once again, you keep avoiding my question, and I'm going to shut you down because it's kind of getting nowhere because you haven't answered my question. My question is, give me an objective statement of objective morality and show how it's not subjective. Do that. So, I mean, yeah, absolutely. Logic and grounding in terms referring to distant substance of argumentation. Yes. So, yeah, it's kind of, I've gotten to that point, but hold on. I hate it when I have to do these things myself. So I have mods. Let's see. What do I want to do? I'm almost done. So this ought to, there we go. There we go. It's not a conversation I want to have right now because I'm still waiting for you to give me an objective moral statement because I have never been able to find one. The more I think about the whole subjective, objective morality thing, I'm like, the moment you bring human beings into it, there's a subjective element. So morality is inherently subjective to me. So yeah, I can do that. It's not that hard. Hold on. I'll make a note of that, Evan, and I will do that after the stream's over when I have more time. Has me blocked, so I can't see his posts, yet he still showed up in my chat to talk shit. It's pretty pathetic. Yes. Yeah, and see, I'm going to pull up this last comment. You guys can't probably see it anymore, but this username, I've seen this before, and it makes me wonder because wait, you don't have the, like, is that a thing or is it just a made up letter system by YouTube? Probably. So I always get nervous around those kind of names because it's like how many account, like we're on Philbert's channel, his stream on Saturday night. It was like this guy must have had 9 accounts. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I know. He keeps coming for more. Okay. All right, Ever. Yeah, but it's like, I wouldn't mind theists if they actually like engaged with you, Ember. Like, it's not, I don't know what it is. Like, the troll theists just don't want to engage. They've got their script and they just follow it. And it's just like, it's annoying. Like, it's like, I've asked you a question, answer my question. Like, other than that, if you don't answer my question, I'm going to like, yeah, it's a Dark Dawkins wannabe. And Dark Dawkins isn't very great. So, yeah, it might be helpful, Michael, if they came up with some empirical evidence for the God they believed in. Yeah, the thing about, just so you guys know, like StreamYard, even if you block somebody on the chat and YouTube, I can still see all their comments and I can still pull them up. So I don't have an ignore button. So I guess I do, but I just never used it. Yeah, I'm not. I've done this. That's like, I've lost track of how many times I've debated that issue of morality. And it's like, once again, for me, morality is a human thing, a human development. And so the moment you bring humans in, there's a subjective give and take. There's different subjects in the discussion. So you've automatically made it a subjective philosophical thing. Morality by its nature is that way. And so even if you bring a God into it, it's still God's opinion about human morality. So it's still a subjective thing. Like, and they can't figure out that just because it comes from an authority like God, it doesn't magically make it an objective thing. Like, it's like they don't understand basic moral philosophy. discussions, and it's infuriating. So yeah, and I ask questions they never answer. They could try to answer it, John. Like he could have made this is an objective moral call. Oh, no, it's not really. Like, and I could do that. So don't play with me anymore. Too complicated to hurt their brains. They still come around and try their shit with me, but it's like I dismiss them. Like you're not. I'm a former theist myself, and I've heard all the arguments. I've made all the arguments. I've probably done some of the stuff that they've done in the past, like 20 years ago. It's just, remember, I don't buy it anymore. Like it doesn't work for me. So you might want to try a different game because this isn't going to work. So it's just not going to work. And, you know, of course I have Fangs to be my guide anyway. He at least acknowledges his morality is subjective. Because the last of the Fang Damnants is, you know, follow the Fang Damnants or don't. You know, Fangs doesn't really care. So I don't. Okay. Yeah. Change their minds. They're just not interested in legitimate discourse that might change their minds. Yeah, I think it's a defense mechanism, actually, Cranky. I think that's why they go to that form of apologetics. But yeah, like I think the reason presuppositional apologetics is so popular is it doesn't allow for actual genuine dialogue. You don't have to think about your apologetics anymore. You just have to do them. So it's like, yeah. Deal with absolutes while making an absolute synthesis. Yes. Just think of them like LLM that's been programmed and used only by dark. Okay. All right, JL. Outstanding, sir. Yeah, I don't know. I would actually like one of them to respond to a question, JL. Like that question I asked is a very simple one. Give me an example of an objective moral statement. And it's like they can't do it. They know that the moment they make such a statement, I can say, well, that's subject to your opinion, man. Like I can go full dude on them like that. That's like your opinion, man. Like, and you know, they've just chosen to believe an authoritative structure is what gives morality its morality. And it's like, no, that's not the way this works. So even authorities at some point have to bow to the morality of society at some point. Otherwise, they don't stay authorities very long. So, but yes. Watch too many more. Yeah, I suppose that would be bad. Like a Darth Dawkins program thing, like that would be, oh my goodness, that would just, yeah, how they're hanging out onto their authority. Yeah, unfortunately, that's the problem with authoritative-based ethics is that when the authority fails, the ethics fails too. So, sentient AI program by Darth Dawkins. I think that's an oxymoron. Yeah, I think you might have a point there, Cranky. Oh my gosh, yeah, that's yeah, it might be. It might be. Oh, hey, Brenta, how you doing, man? Oh my gosh. Oh, but yeah, what's up? I don't know. We're being heatheny. We're doing our heathen things, you know, like asking for evidence and logic and, you know, some sort of objective moral statement that's actually objective, you know, the normal heathen things, you know, just making life a hell for theists that can't accept questions. So, yes, we're being Heretheans in honor of Fangs. I think it's new official house rules that I have to show this picture of baby Fangs every broadcast. So I'm going to get that out of the way. So there you go. But no, it's been fun tonight because the history of Jesus, historicity of Jesus came up, and we got theist trolls that think that their morality is objective, and then they don't bother to answer questions and things like that. You're behind on your blasphemies this week. Okay. Yeah, you got to get that number up. Those are rookie numbers. Get them up. Oh man, but yeah, like I don't know. Every time I get a troll, it's always an amusing thing to me because I've made those arguments myself once upon a time as a Christian, and now it's just like, yeah, I'm just kind of done. Hey, Oceanus, how you doing? Oh, I'm just having a day, I guess. Don't let the picture fool you. Marco will book out your stash. Yes, he will. This is the most deceptive picture ever created by Earl. It's cute as hell. But no. Because this is what happens to Fangs later. This is what happens when he grows up. Oh, Fangs is the funnest deity I've ever created in my mind to illustrate the folly of theism. It's just been totally hilarious. Think this flying spaghetti monster, Lisa the rainbow giraffe, and Bigfoot all rolled into one, and it's Fangs. So, yes. Oh, it should be, could be. I don't know. Fangs has multiplication powers, remember? Like he is a rabbit. Like he can multiply his forms multiple times. Like he can create a version of himself. He's also like completely gender fluid too. Like I referred to him as a he simply because I'm a he, but girls could refer to Fangs as a girl. So yes, time traveling powers, multiplication powers. He can transform himself into a humanoid form that's closer resembling a human being. So, yeah. You're defending. Oh, yeah, the taco stand, huh? Yeah. I don't know, Oceanus. I'm an atheist that the bloodbath sports just aren't for me. I'm more of a guy that likes to have conversations, and it's hard to have conversations on YouTube these days. So it's unfortunate, but yes. Fangs is the best deity I've ever come up with and made up with. An atheist deity too. He draws strength from not believing in him. If you don't believe in Fangs, you get stronger. So there you go. So whether that's a scary thought or not. But this is how he started. Cute little bundle of joy. No, I know the teeth are pointed, but that's not a worry. I live in such a Latin neighborhood that it took me a while to realize I wasn't talking about real taco stand. I can't sort it out, Renta, but I can make it kind of firmly crooked. Lisa the rainbow giraffe is Fangs' mother, technically. Okay. So, and according to Cranky Elder God, there was a party barn thing that was going on that they don't talk about very much, and Fangs came out of all of that. And Lisa the rainbow giraffe is his mom. and me and Earl, the co-creator of Fangs, she does all the artwork. She postulated his father, which I've remained a mystery. So it's mystery. so, but there you go. But there's a whole bunch of it. So it is a new religion. We actually have the Fluffle of Fangs. The Fluffle of Fangs has been going on now for a year now. So, but yes, we have the Fang Damnits, the 13 Fang Damnits. We have Dogma, Doctrine, So, yeah, I'm just saying. The lineage of the Messiah. Like, I mean, so there you go. There you go. I mean, I'm just telling you. Like, there's a whole pantheon about it. So what box? I have no idea. No idea. But no, there's a whole bunch of stuff that comes out of this. The lore is pretty extensive. So, like my favorite story to tell. So, yeah, there's an atheist pantheon. Fangs is a part of it. The god of tricksters, the god of bunnies that steal vegetables from the gardens and stashes, and all of that. That is Fangs. That is Fangs. So there you go. All right, folks, I do have to call it a night. I need to get a quick bite to eat before I head to work, and so I'm going to have to call it a night. Thanks, everybody in the Fluffle of Fangs for tonight. It was a great discussion. Hopefully some other things will come out of this, but thank you one and all. Appreciate all of you. May Fangs bless all of you. May he nibble on all of your hearts. May he, purify your vegetables from religious corruption with his pointy teeth. Make sure you leave a circumcised carrot out for Fangs, because then he won't take your stash, or maybe he'll take this carrot and the stash. It's really a throwing the dice kind of thing. And so do that for him. Appreciate all of that. All of that, nom nom and all that. Make sure you wiggle your noses at each other in honor of Fangs. Check out the Fluffle of Fangs Discord if that's something you're interested in. The link is in the description as well as up on the chat right now. So do that. And as always, folks, thank you for stopping by, but also live your best life. You only get one go around and then it's over. So you want to take all your time, money, and opportunities and give them to yourself, the people you love and care for, and to make this a better world. You'll be happier if you do. And don't waste them on the trappings of religion and faith, because that's a dead end. I speak from experience. And as always, folks, thanks for stopping by. I'll see you all on Wednesday. We'll be doing another edition of Red Letters, Red Flags, where we're talking about the teachings of Jesus and the Sermon on the Mount in particular. So I'll see you all then. So bye, and see you all later for now.